Talofa lava and welcome to the Global Bus Figure Success Podcast. I'm Andrew Fa'avali, your host. Every week I'll be chatting with successful Pacific people from across the globe, unpacking their stories and more importantly, picking out insights, lessons and golden nuggets you can use to live your best life too. All right, cool. Well, welcome back to the Global Bus Figure Success Podcast. I'm Andrew Fa'avali, the host. And today I've got Abigail Tere-Apisah here. We're based here we're here in Port Moresby today. The last podcast we actually did in Manila in the Philippines, so it's good to be back in the Pacific. It's been a little while since we've done one of these shows, but it's great to have Abigail on, who's running a couple of businesses at the moment, a mother of two, and has had a stellar tennis career that we'll dive a bit into. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for having me.
Cool. So we're here in Port Moresby. This is home for you. So can you just tell us a little bit about your journey to get to where you are today?
Yeah, well, I was born here in Port Moresby, grew up here for a little bit, started playing tennis because of my parents. Both my parents were tennis coaches. When I was about 10 or 11 is when I got a tennis scholarship to the ITF house in Fiji. So there was an academy that was catered to Pacific Island tennis players. So to say, the best juniors in your country get selected for a scholarship there. So I spent 4 years there. That's pretty much where I started to learn about routines and getting to really learn about training full time. So yeah, spent 4 years there, and then I got sent off to Albury, New South Wales to train at the Margaret Court Tennis Academy, where I finished my last 3 years of high school. I also started to playing a bit more junior professional tournaments. I started to play ITF tournaments there, and that's where I sort of picked up my junior ranking. And once I graduated, I got a scholarship to Georgia State University in America.
That's cool.
Where, again, because of tennis, and 4 years there, got my exercise science degree and competed for the university for the 4 years before I then went on to play on the professional circuit. So yeah, I think it was my parents. That's pretty much how I got into it.
Yeah, so tennis isn't really a sport that's associated with the islands. How did your parents get into it?
Yeah, good question. I think I'm still kind of learning about that. My dad used to play socially, and he wasn't always a tennis coach. But I think, he was sort of sick of his office job, so he decided to maybe pursue it a little bit. We didn't have any coaches or national coaches at the time, maybe in the 70s or 80s. So I think for my dad, that's when he kind of sort of delved into looking into the coaching route.
So do you mean that he jumped in and did business out of coaching, or was it a side gig, or just a hobby?
No, he literally left his office job and decided to learn more a little bit about it. Traveled to a few places to get his coaching license, and it just sort of kicked off of there. Since my siblings and I have come into the world, we've just sort of been in the sport because of them.
Did you pretty much do what your kids are doing now, like go around, hold the rackets, gather the balls?
Exactly that. I have pictures of when my mom and my dad are both on the tennis court, and me and my sister are just on the side somewhere or in the tennis ball basket. And I see it now with my own kids. I come to work and my son is just running around on the side as well. So yeah.
So did you know it was a business then when you were young? Because I'm just interested in him leaving his government job, safe as, and then he's going out and doing a business because he loves the sport of tennis. He's seen a gap in the market because there's no coaches. But this is not, this is not a central sport that you think he can make a lifestyle out of.
No, you're right. This is such a great question, because that's, I think, now in this phase of my life, that's kind of where I'm thinking about it as more of a business. For my parents, actually, it was more passion.
Yeah.
Because I used to ask my mom. My dad's passed away now. It's been 5 years, but I always ask my mom, like, how did you guys get by? And the coaching scene wasn't the same as it is now. So for me, starting my academy now, it's very different, and I'm looking at it a different way. And even for my mom, who's in the background and helps me a lot with coaching, for her, she's seeing things in a new light. And okay, yes, we can think of it in a business light, but still continue to pursue it because we are passionate about the sport. So I think for my parents, it was because they love the sport so much. So they did a lot of community work.
Yeah.
And when I started out in this role, it was more so about I need to make money. I need to take care of my kids.
Yeah.
But my parents, they just enough to just get by, sort of thing, and we're happy to do it. If it was, even if it was for free, they just love to do it. So yeah,
So
I think
just
it's different now.
yeah. So have you, because you mentioned you say you live with your mum and your auntie.
Yes.
So have you talked to her about that journey and what like just through
Yeah.
those conversations, what are the
Yeah.
lessons that she's kind of
Yeah, briefly,
passed on?
like I said, for them, it was just enough to maybe put money on the table every day, to get by, sort of thing. And luckily, like for my dad, he started already investing in property, so at least they had some sort of
Yeah.
other income that was coming in. But yeah, like I said, for my mom, it's also very new how I'm navigating this role, and she's seeing everything in a new light, I guess you could say. So for a lot of the coaches now that I work with, there's only a handful of us here in Port Moresby who are all coached by my parents, have now
Wow.
become tennis coaches. Yeah, it's all new for us. There's no sort of guideline or standard that we are trying to follow. So it's, yeah, I like the fact that we get to create this new path in the coaching scene.
Yeah, because I think we, like in our cultures, we think about intergenerational kind of things passing on and legacy and stuff. So you just talked about tennis coaching, being courageous and doing your own business. But then you also mentioned real estate. Can you just mention some of their real estate? Because I understand you're also doing real estate as
Yes.
well.
Yeah, like for as long as I can remember, like I'm so blessed that my dad got into the real estate industry, because coming back and living back home, like you mentioned, I live with my mom. I still live at my mom's house. I still cannot afford to live on my own, because the cost of rent and accommodation here in Moresby is really high.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. Like, before my dad passed away, he was a very, how should I say, not the greatest businessman, I'll say that. So,
By giving it a go?
yeah,
Yeah.
in terms of, we had tenants living in pretty much for free, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, when I moved back home, it was hard to watch, because how are you going to take care of yourself when nothing is coming in from the properties? He was just too nice. He said, he would always tell me, well, if we kick them out, where are they going to go? And for me, it's like, well, that's not my problem, sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
we need to survive as well. So, yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at now, is trying to, it's taken a few years, and I'm still learning how to navigate the real estate industry, and trying to manage the tenants. That hasn't been the easiest for me. You gotta really have thick skin, I feel like, and having to deal with them, because there's issues that arise, and maybe sometimes people aren't happy, and you just have to take it head on. And
Yeah, because I
so,
think businesses, well, our cultures are more collective, so we work for the greater good. We live in
yeah,
communities, and so I can understand where your dad was
yeah,
saying, but we're connected to them, and then business is kind of more individualistic. It's like, how do we get the biggest return on investment? So we're trying to figure out how we do that, and it
yeah,
sounds like you're doing that now.
yeah.
So if we'll come back to that, but like if we go back to your schooling, so you said you were here, but then you went to Fiji early.
Yeah.
So what was
Yes.
that like? So how old were you, and what was that
I
like going
think I
away
was
from the family?
10 years old,
Oh
turning
man,
11 when
yeah,
when I got the scholarship to go to the ITF house. We used to call that the ITF house in Lautoka.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a big change. I mean, I was homesick for a month, but then I absolutely loved it. No one had parents there.
yeah.
We had like 15 to 17 kids in that house. We had one house, Mary, and the coach, and that was it. So,
And where were they from? Where were your mates from?
all parts of
All
the
over the
Pacific.
Pacific.
We had Tonga,
Oh yeah.
Samoa, a lot from Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, PNG. Not so much from the Micronesian countries.
So was Carruthers a part of that cohort?
Yes,
Oh yeah.
yes. I actually went the same year as Kim Carruthers. She
Oh,
and I
sister.
were admitted to the academy in the same year.
So okay, so you're over there in Lautoka, but so just explain a little bit about home. Where were you raised here in PNG?
I was right here in Port Moresby.
Oh, were you in Port Moresby?
Still live at the same house.
Oh, real?
Yes.
So was it a big difference when you went to Lautoka? How's the comparison of islands? for you?
Slightly different in the sense that my routine was very different now.
Ah,
I had early morning trainings, then had to. It was almost like military style. Early mornings training, quick shower. All 10 of us girls have to try and figure out how to get ready in 30 minutes with just 2 showers.
Yeah.
Head off to school. So we went to normal school. Straight from tennis, straight to the tennis courts to practice until 5, 6. Dinner time, study time, bedtime. So it was like a set routine for 4 years. After a while, it kind of got repetitive, but you just have to learn to just do it and get it done. But I really enjoyed it.
So there's 2 things. The one is an individual sport.
Yeah.
Like generally in the islands here, we're like rugby league. Many just said volleyball, netball are probably the key ones. They're all team sports, and it goes along with how we like to live in mobs. So individual sport, you can't really hide. Because I remember like playing low-level rugby and just kind of flopping into some ruck sometimes, and I was a bit tired, or being in there and thinking, oh, I wonder what my brother's doing. But you can't really switch off. It feels like it's like boxing. If you don't turn up on the day,
That's right.
you
You're
lose.
pretty much on your own, really.
So what does that do for your mental conditioning?
I think we learn to lots of adaptability, lots of independence from such a young age. And, a lot of us, I went when I was 10, 11 years old. I can't imagine sending my son off on his own.
Would you do it?
Probably not.
Yeah, my daughter's 11 as well, and I wouldn't too. I pretend that I would. I say that she's going straight away,
and I asked my mom, how did you guys do it? And she said, well, that was pretty much the only path of how we can, develop our tennis, maybe get a better education. So for them, it was the only means at the time. So I feel like, for me now as a parent, I think there could be options so that, I'm not letting my 10-year-old.
So do you think, because we probably have the same parenting ethos, like we wouldn't send them away, do you reckon is that going to result in our kids being soft?
I always think about that. Sometimes I want to give tough love, maybe how my parents did, but at the same time, I want to be nurturing and care, make sure they don't hate me because, one of the downsides, I guess, with the path that I've taken and a lot of my, friends from the Pacific have taken, we've missed out on a big chunk of growing up with our parents. So 2019 when I came back during COVID, my sister and I were trying to build a relationship with our parents again. It was very new for us. Even for my parents, because she also left at 10 and, never really, we only came back for Christmas holiday for 2 weeks and then off again. And, at the time we thought the technology wasn't what it was. So we'd talk to them maybe once a week, just on the phone. We'd not see it in face, for...
Yeah, so there's the individual thing, then there's isolation, but then you're going to tennis training. So that's pretty full on for a 10-year-old. Like you say, you've got to be playing tennis in the morning, you got to train in the afternoon. And I did tennis for PE. And our school's next to a prison, so the prisoners have a lot of tennis balls because they went over the fence. But it's all biomechanics and stuff, the serve and how you throw it up, and that's what I understand from reading about it. But you have to master that. So you're doing that at 10. Do you think that's paid off now?
Oh, absolutely. I think so.
So how do we do it without sending our kids away
at
10 years old?
This is where I'm trying to, as a coach now in my role, and I work with a lot of juniors that are sort of up and coming and are looking to take it or play it competitively, not so much for the social aspect of it. So I'm trying to create the environment in our training sessions as best as I can to make it challenging. Time management, being on time, all of those little things are really, really important to me. As a coach, you're just trying to create that environment for them. Or even if, say, I have a lesson with them and I know they can do another hour, I'll organize with maybe one of the members in the club to, hey, go and maybe play a practice match sort of thing.
So these are the habits for success that that from 10 that you've brought into now.
So to say, and I'm trying to keep a quality standard here with the juniors that I work with. But also since I've started the academy, it's trying to create more opportunities because we don't have too many tournaments here in Moresby. So trying to look ahead and see using the networks that I've,
Yeah.
come to make over the years. One of them was earlier this year in January, I organized for a team of 13 players. We went back to Albury Wodonga because, my coach is
Oh,
still
yeah,
there.
cool.
He still runs the academy there. So I took 13 players there to play the grass court tournament there. All of my kids were billeted. They were housed by tennis families, which is what I did when I was living in Albury. I stayed with the Elwood family for 3 years. So yeah, it's for me, it's creating the opportunities, but also creating an environment during our training sessions that are challenging.
Yeah, so let's just paint the picture because Albury Wodonga is not like a Brisbane or a Sydney.
No.
So for those who don't know, it's on the border of Victoria and New
Yes.
South Wales.
Yes, correct.
Kind of close down to Canberra, near Canberra, is that right?
Yes, it's closer to Melbourne-ish.
Oh, close to
About
Melbourne.
3 hours from Melbourne.
Yeah, so I feel like there's more islanders there now, but there would have been none there. So you've gone from Fiji, which is still Pacific,
Yeah.
but still not home. Then you've gone to Australia, but not to all the main centres. You've gone to this country town. You're the only islander there,
Pretty much.
and anyone of colour.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that? Because why I say that, because like if we think about university or communities in Australia or New Zealand, there's this big thing for youth to get a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
But I also think about all those our ancestors. Like I read about in the early 1900s and stuff like that. We were actually sending people to Oxford and to England, and they were going by ship and stuff. So they didn't have a sense of belonging. But how did they succeed? You're kind of aligned with that. You were sent to Fiji. That's not home, but Albury Wodonga. That's just country.
Yeah, that was a big shock, like in so many different aspects. Like you said, I was the only Pacific Islander, the only, dark-skinned girl there in the whole school pretty much. Actually, I think we only had one Fijian girl. There was a Fijian girl, but
yeah.
she was a couple of grades above me. So that sense of belonging for those 3 years that I was there, I didn't really feel it like at school. And I'm not gonna lie, every time I went to school in the morning, it's like I almost just wanted to hide. I wasn't looking forward to recess and lunch because even though I had one really good friend, but she was in a group of friends that they all had so many things in common, and I almost felt kind of left out when sitting in those groups. So I actually dreaded recesses and lunches, but you just learned to. I just had to deal with it. Just do it.
So did you go there for tennis as well?
Yes, I went there because
yeah.
of tennis, and I was really fortunate enough for the Rotary Club in Albury to sponsor my studies. Yeah, so my principal Ian Crosley was a part of the Rotary Club, so they sponsored my school basically. So in the afternoons I'd walk to the tennis club and train all afternoon.
Okay, so can I just get the timeline? So 10 to 13 in Fiji?
10 to 10, 11 to maybe 15,
15.
16. Yeah.
And then the senior
And then
years
the
at
rest,
Albury.
yes.
Okay, and then from there you get a scholarship to
Yes.
Georgia State?
Georgia State in Atlanta, yes. I think that for me was, I think I was excited for that particular part of my journey because even in Fiji and even during the period in Albury, I was really not so much protected, but like housed. Like I actually never went to any birthday parties. Didn't really have a social life, and I can understand like with my host parents, love them to death. They didn't allow me to go to all these things, but I can understand maybe just to protect me. They're looking after somebody else's child. And I was there for one reason, which was for tennis. So yeah, I didn't really have much of a social life from Fiji all the way through to Albury, New South Wales. So when I went to America, I was so excited to finally now no parents at all. Like I can go and live my life. So yeah, that was an exciting time for me. So that the first couple of years, I just everything was new for me.
Yeah. And so through the journey, where was your best tennis played?
I think I definitely improved quite a lot. Like in my junior career when I was in Albury, my coach Phil Shanahan was amazing. He's the nephew of Margaret Court.
Oh yeah.
Who is legend. So yeah, I was working under him, and I, picked up my junior ranking, and so that's why I was fortunate to be able to get into a good university in America because of my tennis and my ranking. But I think I would say, I had at the different stages of my life, when I was in Fiji, I was still the best in the Pacific region. When I went to Albury, I still was the best in that country, New South Wales sort of area. When I went to America, I was playing number one for my university, and I had a pretty successful college career as well.
I'm just trying to figure out, because
Yeah.
like you're away from home and you're really young, and then you're in the strict conditions, because I understand the host parents are trying to, look after their responsibility well. Wow. And then you're still excelling at the sport. And you're dealing with all this off-field or off-court stuff.
Yeah.
You're tough.
No, I don't know. Maybe it was just a people pleaser. I don't know. Like, I never felt comfortable saying no. So if this is what you need to do, I'll just suck it up and do it.
Are you comfortable saying no now?
Yes.
Was it?
And I think the real estate industry has taught me that.
Your business.
Yes.
All right, so Georgia State, man, that's amazing. So you're over there. Are these moments where you have to pinch yourself, or is it just normal because you've been on the road since 10?
I think for me, just normal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's up until now only. When I've transitioned to this coaching role, I never had any time to kind of reflect and take a moment to think about how far I've come, what I've done. Not in my playing career ever. It's only now, very recently, where I can kind of look back a little bit, and from chatting with my mom and navigating the academy, I'm only starting to kind of reflect on it, and it's mostly other people that remind me about it. You did so well, and I'm like, oh, okay.
And they're really proud of you,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, that's just normal.
Kind of, yeah.
That's just what you did.
This is what I did.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't
It's
know.
not normal. I just remind you again.
Thanks.
So is it because, when you have to serve and maybe you have a bad serve, I'm just assuming, but if you have a bad serve, you have to put it behind you, otherwise, so you can't really reflect that much on it, otherwise you're not,
I think that's what sport, and for me, tennis, that's what it really taught me about, like, not dwelling too long on things. Because in tennis, you lose the point, okay, it's the next one. It's okay, you gotta stay in the present in this particular point. Yes, you can use the previous points that you've lost to see how you can make it better, but not dwelling on it. So tennis has definitely taught me a lot of discipline and finding myself, I guess.
And was there a woman on your journeys that really inspired you, that you wanted to emulate or be like?
I always looked up to Serena and Venus on the professional circuit. I definitely always looked up to them. But when I started, throughout my junior playing career, and even while I was in college, and maybe the first couple of years on the professional tour, for me, I was just doing it because other people told me to do it. You're good enough to, like, when I graduated college, hey, I think you can. Some people are telling me, I think you can go on the professional circuit. At the time, I didn't really want to, because I was starting to see all of my friends, get jobs or start to have families, get into relationships, and I'm like, I want to do that. It's just tennis all my life. So my whole playing career, for the most part, has been other people telling me that I can do it. You should try this out. And it's not only, it wasn't until maybe 2 or 3 years onto the professional circuit is when I actually started to find the love and passion in the sport, and I started to enjoy, like, going to the gym, enjoy training. Before, it felt like a chore. So now I forgot what the question was.
No. Okay, so I'll go to the professional part soon, but Ash Barty.
Yeah.
Do you reckon she dropped the mic when she just became Wimbledon
know,
champion and then just
well,
quit?
number one, and then just stopped.
Do you reckon?
Maybe she wanted to finish off on a high. I don't know.
That's pretty cool,
Yeah, that's pretty good. And you know what?
Because it's not normal.
Don't know.
Because there's heaps of money that she potentially left on the table
exactly.
because she wasn't just ordinary. She went to one.
I know, but I know she wanted to start a family.
Yeah.
One of the struggles a lot of female tennis players or female athletes face, like, there's a timeline. You want to start a family, you want to be in a relationship. How can you manage both, but I see it a lot more now on the women's circuit. There's a lot of moms now. They're having their child and then come back after a year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for me at the time, unheard of. Like, who does that? When I got pregnant, I was like, that's the end of me. That's the end of my tennis.
Done.
Really.
Yeah.
But
It's a big
hard.
ask though, because the
Yeah.
body goes through heaps.
That's
My wife
right,
always tells me
yeah.
every day how much she
Yes,
sacrificed.
good, she does. Yeah, no, it's very very challenging. Like for a lot of females, and for a long time on the professional circuit, when I was reaching 25, 26, I was like, oh, am I gonna start a family soon? I don't want to be 40 and settle down. I don't want to be living out of a suitcase for years and years. And that's all I kind of knew. And if I could really turn back time, I would try to start thinking about planning my future a little bit more. I wish I had that ability back then. Like even when I was in college, I didn't even know what I wanted to study. So I just picked one, and
What did
that's
you
what
pick?
I exercise science.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, only because sport, physical activity.
If you could have your time again, what would you
I'd
choose?
business. I'd go back and
Yeah.
do business or something.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, there's a lot of things that I see a lot of young girls that are so determined. Not like Minnie, for example. It's like she really inspires me a lot. When I was a young man, I felt like a baby. I didn't even know what to do because again, for my whole playing career, it's other people managing my journey. Okay, now you're going here. Okay, great. You got a scholarship. You're going there. Now you go on there. So yeah, I just, as much as it taught me about independence and being responsible for your own, I didn't feel like I really had control of my life.
I think that's a big narrative in rugby and rugby league that we're seeing is the transition. So,
Yeah.
so you went through to the professional circuit. How many years were you on that circuit?
About 5 years.
Wow.
5 years, yeah. And I think, and I stopped because of COVID.
Ah.
Yeah.
And so, what was it like stepping out on the court representing Papua New Guinea?
Oh, best feeling ever.
Oh, yeah.
Especially during the Pacific Games because I get to come back and play. Like in 2015 was the Pacific Games in PNG. I think that's probably the highlight of my career. Because my family have never seen me play. Besides my parents, my extended families, no one's ever seen me play before because I left so young. So, I had my whole family here in 2015 for the Pacific Games, and that was such a cool experience. And when I was on professional circuit, I'm always playing outside of PNG, so it's different. But when I have to put on the, PNG colors,
Yeah.
like that to me is probably the most proud I always am.
So you're going all around the world. You're a woman in a sport that isn't really that big in the Pacific, but you're representing Papua New Guinea. So was that a blessing or a curse, or a bit of both?
Maybe more so of a blessing. Now I see it now more of a blessing. I mean, I was so blessed. Not everyone that I went to the ITF house in Fiji, not everyone got the same opportunity that I did. Maybe because I was just a little bit better than the rest that I got the opportunity to then go to Albury. All of them stayed on in Fiji, finished high school, and then went on to maybe junior colleges in America. Whereas, because I had the opportunity to go to Australia, get up in the rankings in the juniors, then I was able to get into a better university, a 4-year university, a university that was competing in Division 1. So yeah, I want to say that I was blessed with the opportunities that I got.
And so out of the transition then, we know now you're doing real estate and you've got a tennis academy here in Port Moresby, but you also mobile, you go all over. How was the transition? Did you know COVID stopped your career, and did it force you into thinking about the next part?
Pretty much, yes. The first year when I moved back, the first year was such a struggle. Like I said, reconnecting with my parents, not reconnecting in the sense that like we never talk to each
Just
other or
getting in
anything.
deeper.
It's just I left when I was 10 years old, so now I'm an adult and we're having to communicate as adults. And also for my parents, I think it was difficult. People talk about the safety issues here in Port Moresby, so like they wouldn't let me go around by myself, drive around anywhere. I always had to have a cousin brother or somebody with me, which fair enough, I still do for the most part to this day. So yeah, the first year was a little bit difficult, and I did not want to do coaching. My sister was here with me and she already started transitioning into the coaching, helping my parents. For me, it was a big no. I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to coach. I was
So
just
what'd you
trying to
change?
wait for borders to open up so I can go back.
Oh, back to tennis?
Yeah, back to playing, but things didn't work out. My dad passed away and I got pregnant, so I was kind of stuck. So yeah, that first year, maybe first 2 years was a bit of a challenge, and yeah, I don't feel like I was doing it because I was passionate about it. I wanted to give back. Now I do. I've sort
Oh,
of found
cool.
the love in it. Yes, and I love it. I love what I do with the kids. Yeah.
So tell us about the academy. What's it called? Where's it based?
Yeah.
Who's your
So
target cohort?
yeah, so Tere-Apisah Tennis Academy, so it's my last name. I wanted to, I think a lot of people, hopefully, people, associate to the name because of what I've done in the sport of tennis. So for me, it was relatable, but also I wanted to pay, respects to my parents for
Oh,
the
cool.
work that they've done. So that's why I wanted to keep my name in it, my last name, sorry. Yeah, for that reason. Yeah, and we're based here in Port Moresby. We are working heavily out of the Boroko, Port Moresby Rackets Club at Boroko, but we're also mobile. So we go to different residents around town and coach some of the residents. And I also do work for the Oceania Tennis Federation.
Oh,
So
cool.
every now and again, I get called up to go and do regional work or travel with junior players from the Pacific region.
So is it you and your sister?
No, it's me
Just
and my
you now?
mom.
You and
Me
your
and my
mum
mom.
now?
My sister's moved back to America.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
she moved back. She went back to her husband.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, she's just got a family now, and she's still doing coaching, but
Oh,
in
yeah.
America. And I'm always telling her, "Are you gonna come back so you can help me out here?"
which state is she in?
She's in where is she? Michigan. She's
Oh,
in Detroit.
really? Wow.
Yeah. So
You're
her husband
everywhere,
is-
right?
Yes, so I'm the only one here in PNG. My other brother is in the UK and the oldest brother in Sydney.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is just normal for your family?
Yeah.
Migration.
Yeah.
Yeah. And exploring.
Yeah.
Wow, man. So let's go to the business part.
Yeah.
So obviously the tennis has to be set up as a business,
Yeah.
otherwise it's a hobby.
Yes.
And then you've got the real estate there.
Yeah.
What's the biggest lesson so far in business?
The managing, the organizing, I mean, that part is not new because when I was on the professional circuit, I didn't have a team. So I was
Yeah.
trying to play, manage my flights, accommodation, logistics, and then trying to play at the same time. So a lot of that stuff is not new to me, but I think it's the people aspect, talking to clients is very different, and just treating what I do as a business sort of thing. So yeah, how I've structured the tennis now is it's not just, hey, somebody asked me, I want to do coaching. Okay, yeah, great. And just telling them now, like just simple things like having not a website, like a flyer with all my rates, what I provide services, registering it, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and dealing with the real estate side has taught me a lot about that. But I've come across a lot of people along the way that have given me a lot of advice and helped me and actually given me a lot of like inspiration.
Yeah,
that
so
I
you're
can take
flipping.
from. Yeah.
So can you just tell us about that? How many have you done? What's your target?
Yes.
What have you
So
learned and how's it getting better because you're doing them?
yes, my family, we currently have 4 units right now, all in one compound. So I've done 2 already. I'm on to the 3rd unit because these units haven't been maintained or updated since maybe the 80s or 70s. I
Yeah.
don't know. So a lot of the internal stuff is very old. But yeah, I'm trying to make it give it a fresher look, I guess you could say. But also want to still keep it affordable because I know housing and trying to rent in Port Moresby is ridiculous. But also, yeah, trying to I don't know, yeah, I don't know. My friends and my family are telling me like, okay, you're the landlord, so you can say no, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Trying to, yeah, like I said, the saying no part and having the confidence to say no when it's not right or whatnot.
So why did you say you would have chosen business as a study? Where's the gap now you
Yeah.
think in your understanding, or how could it have added value?
Yeah, just because of what I do now, with the coaching, it's a lot of on-court stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of admin stuff I've found, like dealing with so many different clients. My mom's clients. I also have another coach that does work for me, dealing with her clients or her.
So is it the marketing? Is it the price setting? Is it the asking for the money? Is it the making the sale? You know what I
No,
mean?
not so much the pricing, not so much the marketing.
You got
We are
that down?
there's so much opportunity for coaching here in Port Moresby.
Yeah.
I've realized,
Oh,
like,
cool.
we have um, at the Rackets Club, we have a lot of our national Papua New Guinean players that come in, but then we also have the community of the expatriates. So there's a big market for coaching.
Yeah, because
And
outside of PNG, and we've talked about it a little bit, like there's a narrative that there's a narrative that's not true when we arrive in Port Moresby. We feel there's a lot of people with a lot of wealth, and there's a lot of people who
yeah,
have achieved great things like
yeah.
you. We meet so many people like that. So is tennis more of a class kind of
Like,
game?
yes, I think people find that to be. And I think at this stage, I think like a lot of people are maybe afraid of that. They think that it's a class thing. It costs a lot. Yes, don't get me wrong. It does cost a lot, like eventually, but at the club that I'm at, and I work with the National Federation. We're trying to see how we can still make it accessible and
Classics.
affordable, and it is. It can be.
So that thing that you went to Rigo recently, you
Yeah.
went out to is it your mum's district?
Yes. That's a,
So was that to kind of build up community participation?
Correct. Yes, and it's something that's funded by um, Tennis Australia
Oh,
in
cool.
partnership with Pacific Oz Sports. So they took care of our logistics going up there,
Yeah.
so that we could run the program. Um, you know, giving us nets and balls so we can go and run the program. And for myself, I'm starting to find the joy in that. Taking some time away from my own, private coaching in my academy to do stuff like that. And I think I'm in a space where I can do that, where I can miss a week if I have to.
So you got two kids, then you go to the tennis academy, then you come home and you do some renovations
Yes.
on your units. Is that normal to you?
To me, it's normal now. That's very normal to me now. Yeah.
It's
I,
not normal, man. Come on.
how you juggle?
Yeah. So how do you juggle all of it?
I don't know. I think maybe because I love it. I actually really find joy in the renovating stuff. I mean, I'm not the one that has to do all the physical labor, but I actually enjoy coming and seeing it change, how the place is looking. I also enjoy going to the hardware stores and picking out stuff. What I don't enjoy is the driving around. That I don't enjoy. But yeah, juggling it. I don't know. Like I said, I've got my mom and my auntie who's with me at home. So I'm really blessed in the sense that my daughter is well taken care of at home. My son can go to school. My kid's dad, he's not out of the picture. He's just studying. He's trying to figure out his path as well because he's a football player.
Oh, is he?
Yes, and he's trying to transition out of player into now what's next.
Next option
Yeah,
for him.
because we have kids now and we can't be playing forever and bills need to be paid. So
So what's the plan for the businesses? Scale, or are you good at this?
yes, for the real estate stuff, definitely. I want to be able to in the future build a property portfolio. Because property and having land and all of that, it will always appreciate. So that's what I want to do in that set, and also get it to a stage where I'm on top of things. When my dad passed away, we were left with a lot of bills that were still outstanding. So we're still in the process of doing that. I am not at that stage where it's just generating itself, because I'm renovating at the same time. So I think for the next couple of years, it's a bit of sacrifice,
Yeah, that's
and building it up to a stage where we're on track with everything, with IRC, IPA, all of that stuff. And with the tennis, I mean, I think now I'm thinking ahead in terms of, I won't be able to do this forever on my own. And we need a lot more coaches. So, this community coaching stuff is really important to me now because I've started to realize I can't do this by myself. We need a lot more coaches. There's a big market for tennis and coaching, and there's so many opportunities for all of the coaches to be able to have work. So yes, seeing if we can train more coaches to start to come into the academy. So, you know, because my mom is 70 now and
Oh, wow.
she's doesn't plan to be doing it for very long. So I'm like, no, can you hold on a little bit longer until, you know, we have more coaches in the academy. So I think that's the plan.
And what's your take on women's sport and women in leadership in the Pacific? Women's sport first, which is, you know, obviously Serena and Venus done a great job
Yeah.
during their tenure, such a long tenure. And then what about here in PNG and the Pacific?
Yeah, I think it's great. Women in sport, like I said, sport teaches you guys, you know, teaches us a lot of things without even realizing. So I think staying in sport is the key tool. You can get your education from it, and especially from the tennis route. You know, I was able to get my education, my degree, because of the sport. And what I do now with my academy and working with our federation is seeing how we can create different pathways. Because I think at the moment when we get kids that come through the sport, people think that you're training and playing to be competitive and be the best for your country and all of that, but there's always some that are going to be miss out. There's always going to be a handful that's going to be great and some that aren't. So we're trying to create opportunities that can go into maybe officiating, coaching path,
Pathways, yeah.
admin path. So yeah.
What do you reckon about this participation thing? Like, you know, some people were saying, oh, we're trying to even it all out, but we're actually creating less resilient people by not doing the first, second, and third. Is there an age where there should be a winner and a loser? Because or keeping score? Is that controversial?
I don't know. I actually never thought about that. But you know, when I grew up, it was like you winner or runner up. That's it.
Yeah.
And there was always kids that come off the court crying and stuff like that. And now with the, you know, you're making sure all the kids have fun. I don't know, you know. I mean, I grew up in a time where
it's
we
different
know you
time.
don't. And
But did you watch the Williams sisters? I think
yes,
there was
I
a
did.
movie.
Yes, I think
Didn't
it was King
Richard Williams? Yeah, didn't he not put them in or something? I can't.
Yeah.
I think my wife told me about the movie. I don't think I
Oh
watched
yes,
it.
he didn't put them in, but I think the girls registered themselves without his knowledge.
Oh yeah,
I
so he was
think-
trying to keep them away from that environment, and
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
and I
yes.
think even Michael Jordan, like I think Kobe Bryant rang him to ask for advice around what do you do for a kid around 10 who wants to play, and I think he mentioned he wasn't even playing basketball at that time; he was playing softball. So I think the point of it was that kids are better off having a broad range of
Yes.
different things.
Oh,
What are you going
and-
to do with your kids?
Yeah, no, actually, now I'm a firm believer of like all sports until you figure out what it is that you want. So, like with my son, like, I mean, it's natural because
He's
he
got
comes
a
to the
dad.
courts with me and he just picks up a racket. I actually don't spend time with him on the court. He's just hitting on his own on the wall or with his friends or whatever. But yeah, for my partner and I, that's something that we want to give them the opportunity to try all sports because I think having the skill to play lots of different sports can benefit when you do decide to choose one. So we hope that my kids. I mean, I hope that my kids can play all different sports. But I'm just trying to think about where I'm gonna fit them in when I when I have to be on the tennis court at 3 o'clock, and how am I gonna take them to after school activities? So maybe when my partner comes back, it'll be a little bit easier.
That's the big juggle right now. That's the truth.
Yes.
Yeah. But you're just taking it and just try it as if it's normal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the thread that goes through it is like you just did what was in front of you, and I think what I see from people like you, you're doing like let's call it extraordinary things, but just seeing it as ordinary. So maybe does that mean that success really comes from just making really hard things normal?
Maybe.
Because going away at 10, if we look at it objectively and away from your story with you in the middle of it, going away at 10, going to Albury, going to Georgia State, starting a business, renovating while having 2 kids, you're just taking it in your stride.
Yeah. Righto. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I don't. Again, like I said, I don't really stop and like reflect too much on it. You just kind of just do. And maybe that's one thing that's taught me about my journey as a junior. You just do it really. And I think I'm slightly different to maybe my partner. He likes to think what could happen, what could not happen. He's very that much. And me, I
Action.
Just action, just do it, sort of thing. So yeah, I don't know.
Cool. So one thing I get when I come to PNG and places, especially PNG, is everyone's very patriotic and really proud of their nation. I think it's very common through the Pacific as well. What's your big hope for PNG broadly, and then maybe also around tennis?
Okay, that's a big question broadly for PNG. Look, what do I want? What was the second part? Sorry.
Just for tennis, PNG
Okay, maybe I
tennis.
should start with tennis first, huh? Yeah, I think I want to be able to lift the standard of our competitive juniors, create a little bit more tournaments here, and see if we can branch out outside of Port Moresby. But it also comes with having more coaches, and that's something where ask the coaches that we have now. That's something that we can be a part of creating if we have to leave our work now to go spend a week somewhere outside of Port Moresby. That's what we have to do if we want to really develop more tennis outside of Port Moresby. So yeah, my hope for tennis is I know there's so much potential in PNG, but it hasn't really been tapped into. No one really to go and facilitate those programs. So if I can start small and in my village, hopefully we can broaden it, and the women that we are teaching, hopefully they can step up and then go into their own communities or other communities and develop the sport, even if it's at the grassroots level. Yeah, so we can then have a bigger pool to choose from when kids start getting better and better and advancing, because when we have junior or regional events where our kids have to travel to Fiji or Vanuatu, wherever, it's the same kids that we're having to pick from, because there's no other kids. Yeah, not a big pool. And for PNG, I want my kids to grow up in a safe PNG. I love being home because they get to run around and be free. They get to be here still with their family. I've thought about my partner. I've thought also about living outside of PNG. But one thing is, my kids won't get to be around their family as much. And that's one of the most memorable things about when I was growing up in PNG. I was always around my family, my cousins. So yeah, I want my kids to grow up in a safe PNG where they can, or a PNG where we don't necessarily have to go overseas to, get all this education and whatnot, a better tennis. We can do it right here.
Really access.
Yeah.
This is pretty vague, but do you guys have any questions?
I think mine was just about how do you juggle everything, which I think she answered. And what are your hopes? Did you share that? Sorry, I was.
No.
What for the next generation? Yeah, what's something that you would tell, I guess, a young tennis or a young girl wanting to pursue that career?
Yeah.
In sports or tennis or even anything in general, business.
Yeah, I work with a couple of young girls who are 13 and 14 years old, and I see a lot of myself in them when I was their age, but I was such a really shy girl. So little things like when we're doing media and stuff, and I ask these kids to come on and be the one to be in front of the camera, just teaching them a little bit of confidence skill. It's part of the package. It's part of being an athlete. There's going to be a time where interviewers, you're going to be on camera. So that's something, in whatever way I can impart some, advice on my juniors, I do. But I also try to show it by example. I'm at the courts before they show up, sort of thing. I'm always telling them, hey, if you're here 30 minutes before your session with me, you make sure in the 30 minutes you've done your warm-up, so when you come on court, we're starting. Just little things like that, I think that all add up to building a really, really good, solid person and a good citizen, I guess.
Cool. Anything else? Anything else you want to share?
Not really, I don't think so.
We good?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. Do you?
No,
You
you
guys?
talk about your academy all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so look, what I get is you're a very action-oriented person, and you, like you just said, you lead by example. I've mentioned already that you've done these extraordinary things and see them as really ordinary. So yeah, I think I'm just really glad we got to have a chance to chat here, especially in your hometown. Inspired and learned a lot in terms of my own parenting, because we want our kids to get out there and experience the world, but I can see from you want to keep them really close to your family right now, and that's really important, especially given you've already been through the journey of getting abroad and having a look at all these things. So congratulations on all your career. Congratulations on making the jump into business through your passion of tennis and real estate. It's a massive mirror to what your dad did as well. And my dad was very entrepreneurial too, and unfortunately he didn't leave much behind because he made some bad decisions. But I'm just hoping that I learn from those and the next generation can learn. So I wish that for you too, and just God bless you for the rest of your career. Thank you so much.